Hello students. In last lecture we have gone through general layout of hydraulic system, the basic of hydraulic system, and the merits and demerits of hydraulic system, and even the applications we have seen. So in this lecture we are going to continue the same lesson of introduction of hydraulic and pneumatic system. But in this section we are going to learn about pneumatic system and its components. Okay. So let's get started with our first topic, general layout of hydraulic pneumatic system. Okay, pneumatic system is actually a system in which we are going to use pneumatic components. For example, the basic pneumatic component we are going to use as a air or medium which is related to air. Okay, suppose I am using air as a medium, so air is freely available over everywhere. Okay, so we can use air as a medium which is free, which reduces the cost of the complete system. Even it is non-hazardous in nature, so it is eco-friendly, and many other advantages of the pneumatic system are there. But the very important disadvantage of pneumatic system is this, that we can use the pneumatic system for a very high pressure. The pressure creation of this pneumatic system is up to a certain limit. Okay, means we can go up to a certain limit. Above that limit we can't use pneumatic system. It is completely switched to, or we have to compulsory switch to the hydraulic system, because hydraulic system is comparatively generates more power as compared to a pneumatic system. So pneumatic system is being used for small scale or even the small power ratio system, but the hydraulic system is we are going to use for a large power ratio machines. Okay, so when I am going to create a machine or create some kind of a system, I need to study the complete power ratio of the system, and then I have to decide whether I am going to go with the hydraulic system or the pneumatic system. So it is very important to decide the complete flow of the system, and then accordingly I have to decide the system of the complete process. Okay, whether to go with the hydraulic system or the pneumatic system. So let's get started with the general layout of pneumatic system. So general layout of pneumatic system consists of air from the atmosphere as a medium, then it is going further passing through compressor, which compresses the air and gives it a pressure energy. Okay, it generates a pressure energy inside the air, or provides the pressure energy to the air so that it can be used for a further process. Okay, so once the air pressure energy has been generated, it moves to air dryer. Okay, because of the compressor or the atmospheric air, it contains some kind of humidity. Okay, that humidity once get connected with the other components of the pneumatic system, it corrodes the inner side of the components. So to prevent that, we need to remove the humidity from the air. So we are going to use air dryer over here. Okay, air dryer just removes the humidity from the process, which provides the clean and pure air. Okay, so once the air dryer has been completed, it moves further to air receiver tank. Okay, it is actually a storage tank. We just store that tank. We just store that air, pressurized air, so that as per the requirement we can be able to use that air without wasting or without dropping the pressure of the air. Okay, so we are just going to store it in an air receiver tank, and then accordingly we are going to use that in a further process. Once we store that pressurized air, it can move to our next section, which is related to filter process. Okay, in this process we are going to filter the air or pressurized air, then followed by the regulator, then lubricator. Okay, all these systems we are going to study in our later sections. This actually filter, regulator and lubricator, this is actually known as FRL. Okay, FRL means filter, regulator and lubricator. These three sections are denoted to pneumatic system, because filter, it actually filters the air which is present in the atmosphere, which contains some kind of impurities, then it gets passed to the regulator, which actually regulates the certain kind of molecules or even air to a certain form. Then lubricator, because lubricator, if I am using a pure dry air, it creates a certain kind of impact on the components. So to reduce that impact, we are going to just lubricate. Okay, we are going to just atomize some kind of lubricants inside the air, so that it creates a lubricated air, and we can use that air into the components. Okay, we can use that air into the components, which will be used in our system. Okay, which will be used in our system. So once the air has been passed by FRL, okay, filter, regulator and lubricator, it gets connected to the direction valve. Direction valve is actually a valve which gives direction to the supply of the air. It is having two sections, in which 4 ports or even n number of ports are there. Okay, it gets certain kind of direction to the flow of the air, which gets connected to the further actuator, which converts the pressure energy of the air into the mechanical energy. Okay, the actuator over here is the double acting cylinder, which moves when connected to the supply air. Okay, suppose I am having a supply from here A to P, then A to A. So the supply air or the pressurized air fills this cylinder, and as the filling of the cylinder started, the piston start moving in the rightward direction. Okay, it moves to the right. Okay, it moves to the right. So there over here the pressure energy is being converted into mechanical energy by the use of actuator, which is double acting cylinder in this process. Okay, so it just converts the pressure energy into the mechanical energy. But the problem is, in pneumatic system we are going to use up to a certain pressure. Above that pressure we need to compulsory switch to hydraulic system. Okay, let's move to the merits and demerits of pneumatic systems. Merits and demerits of the pneumatic system specifies the advantages and disadvantages or the limitations of the pneumatic system. So the merits of pneumatic system are: working medium is free of cost. Atmosphere air is freely available in our atmosphere, so we can easily access the air without paying any kind of a cost. Okay, so it is free of cost. The system air is dry and system is clean. Okay, no leakages are there. Okay, no leakages are there because of the pressure drop, or because which creates the pressure drop, or even certain kind of a dirty environment. So it is clean in nature and air is dry. We just need to remove the extra humidity from the air in some cases. Okay, then air is non-hazardous in nature. It is non-hazardous in nature. It does not create any kind of a damage or any kind of a hazard to the humans, or it is not harmful in nature to the human. Okay, then equipments are easy to manufacture and also it works with ease. Okay, equipment of pneumatic system is very easy to manufacture as compared to the pneumatic system, because pneumatic system we are going to create a small in size equipments as compared to a hydraulic system, because hydraulic system is going to create a lot of pressure as compared to the pneumatic system. So we are going to make a detailed detailed and precise dimensional accurate equipments, because the pressure over there is very high in a hydraulic system. So we have to maintain that pressure, and we are we need to take care of the one side also, that equipment doesn't doesn't get explode or burst in the process, because the pressure needs to be maintained in a complete process. So the equipment must sustain in that pressure also. Okay, so as compared to the pneumatic system, the equipments of hydraulic system are comparatively costly and even very difficult to manufacture. But equipments of the pneumatic system are completely easily manufactured, and even we can work with them with the ease. Okay, so next point, maintenance cost is low, obviously, because no leakages are there, okay, or minimum leakages are there, so you can easily do a maintenance or periodical maintenance of that complete system. Then demerits are talk about the comparison of the pneumatic and hydraulic system, because the pneumatic system works in a very low limited pressure of about 10 maximum 10 bar, not more than 10 bar. But if my system requires the pressure of more than 10 bar, I compulsory need to switch my system from pneumatic to the hydraulic system. Okay, because the hydraulic system creates a pressure of more than 10 bars. Okay, then if pressure drops, then air cannot be used for processing. Okay, this is another point, because if there is any kind of leakage in the system, the pressure immediately gets dropped or instantly gets dropped, which creates a completely havoc in the further processing system, because air cannot be moved further. It directly gets out of the leakages, because it actually creates a pressure drop. It completely creates a pressure drop. So we can actually process without the use of this medium. Okay, so it is very important to maintain the complete pressure over there. Then properties of hydraulic oil, lubricity. Okay, lubricity is actually a term which is related to lubrication. So lubrication of the system is very important, means where you maintain the viscosity of the oil. Viscosity is very important, because if the viscosity is very high, the liquid won't be able to, or the hydraulic oil won't be able to flow very easily. Okay, it won't be able to flow very easily, which actually minimizes the transfer of pressure energy from one part to the other part, where we are going to completely transform the pressure energy into the mechanical energy or the work energy. So it is very important to have a low viscosity, even with a good flowability. Okay, even with a good flowability. Then chemical stability, correct. It must have a good chemical stability, because hydraulic oil, when comes in contact with a certain material or chemical, it does not have to react with that chemical or any kind of other substance, because once it gets reacted, it will create a certain kind of other component which could be dangerous to the system. So it is very important to have a stable hydraulic system or hydraulic oil. Okay, good chemical stability. Then non-corrosivity, it must be non-corrosive in nature, correct, because once it is it creates a corrosion, because it is completely in contact with the metal object or metal equipments. Then high flash point. Okay, high flash point, because the pressure energy creates the we actually when we move to a basic of flash point, we know that because of compression or because of the creation of the pressure, there is an ignition of the flash point. So if I am having a very high flash point, once the pressure energy has been created, to make sure that high flash point doesn't get in range with that pressure energy, because once that flash point is in range with the pressure energy, it creates an ignition and it completely destroys the hydraulic system. So it is very important to have a high flash point, which actually ignores or which actually avoids the creation of the spark or ignition. Then minimum toxicity, it must be non-toxic in nature. good heat dissipation because of pressure energy heat will be generated, and that heat must be dissipated easily with the use of hydraulic oil. Then fire resistant, it must be fire resistant because pressure energy is going to generate a tremendous amount of heat, which must be which must not actually generate fire or any kind of ignition, because of which the fire will be generated. So it must be completely fire resistant. Okay, hydraulic oil must be completely fire resistant, but it must have a high flash point. Okay, it must have a very high flash point. Then low specific gravity. Okay, it must have a low specific gravity, and also the cost and availability must be very easy. Okay, means the cost must be very low, and it must be readily available or anywhere. Okay, means suppose I am having a certain kind of a requirement of the hydraulic oil, it must be available in nearby. Okay, it's because once the hydraulic oil gets damaged, it must be completely replaced again and again, so that the system or the processing doesn't get disturbed in between. Okay, so these are some of the properties of the hydraulic oil, and we are going to stop over here. By this way we are going to end this lecture, end this lesson. Thank you. We will meet our next chapter. Thank you.